Have you been working really hard to lose the weight, but you just can't get the scale to move? I completely understand the frustration, and I've dealt with that before multiple times. In 2018, I was 120 kilograms. I was unhappy with my body, I was unhappy with my weight. However, my goal was to lose that. By mid-2020, I was down to 70 kilos. I understand the challenges of long-term weight loss. Even today, in my bulking and cutting periods of trying to regain muscle, I find that the same values still go into it. So at a basic level, why are you not losing weight? First of all, what we need to remember is that we're trying to lose fat, not weight. The scale not moving can not always be a bad thing. It's not always that you're not fully committed. It's not always that you're not trying your hardest. However, there are some obvious points that we need to get out of the way. This is the simple one. You may actually be eating more than you think you are. This may be as a result of the following factors. Firstly, you may be drinking excess calories, whether this be through alcohol, soft drinks, things like that you don't even consider would contain a large amount of calories. This leads into that you might be tracking inconsistently. You may not always be accounting for the oil that you're using when you're cooking, and things like that can be hundreds of calories that you completely ignore, and although you think you're in a deficit, you're actually not. Sometimes you may be very good at tracking for 5 or 6 days a week, but at the weekend you completely overeat, and all of that goes out the window. You may stay in a lovely 300 calorie deficit a day for 5 days a week, but then over the weekend you go 750 over on your Saturday and Sunday, and suddenly all that deficit is gone immediately. What I'd recommend for this situation is I'd recommend working in your calories on the daily. I'd recommend taking off 200 off the calories that you're aiming for each day for 5 days a week, and then you can reinvest them back into the weekend. So if your deficit is 2,000 calories and you can eat 1,800 a day for the rest of the week, and then at the weekend, it means that you can go over and it won't be too much of an issue. Having said that, that doesn't mean completely have free reign over what you eat. Weight loss is hard. It's not easy. Your body will fight against you. It doesn't want to lose the weight. Your body likes to be in a solid state. It likes to be consistent. It likes to remain exactly the same as where it is. So there will be some resistance from you. There'll be lots of hunger. There'll be lots of frustration over wanting to eat more and enjoy yourself more. However, you've got to hold back when that happens. My second point is actually something that's entirely not your fault at all. This is water retention. Now, water retention can happen for multiple reasons. Recently, the weather's been quite hot. Water retention can happen because of this. Sometimes your body thinks that it's in drought conditions and it will hold on to excess water for absolutely no reason at all. I also find that personally, my body does this quite a lot. Whenever I'm losing large amounts of weight, I'll find that the scale won't move for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then overnight I'll suddenly lose a kilogram. And I know that I've been in a deficit the entire time, and that's my body just releasing the water. This can often be that the water holds itself in fat cells. Even though the fat within it's gone, the water still remains. You also find that if you have a day where you eat a little bit extra, so a few more carbohydrates, your body will hold on to more water too. Effectively, for every gram of carbohydrate in your body will hold on to 4 grams of water. This means if you eat 200 grams of carbs and your body holds it, your body will also hold on to 800 grams of water. And this means that you'll have a whole kilogram of extra weight that you weren't expecting. Your body can also hold on to water due to hormones and stress. For example, if you've had a stressful week at work or you're a bit anxious about something, you might find that your body holds onto a little bit more water. In this time, don't panic. As long as you've got the first bit right, where you're sticking to your calories, you're sticking to the amount of steps you need to do, you're sticking to the deficit that you need to, I wouldn't be too concerned about the weight on the scale. Look for visual things. In the mirror, do you look like you're losing weight? Do you look like your body is leaner than it was before? If you measure your waist, you measure your arms, have the measurements gone down? I think this is crucial if you really want to assess your progress. I can understand if you don't want to do this though, but my point is don't panic because the weight's not going down. But as I said before, make sure that your calories are actually right before you assess this side of things. Thirdly, in relation to calories, your body obviously has a basal metabolic rate that it needs to stick to. It has a number of calories each day that it needs to sustain itself. What you'll find is as you lose weight, this will lower. This will lower for multiple reasons. Firstly, the obvious one. If your body holds less weight, it obviously needs less calories to sustain itself. And as a result, I'd recommend recalculating your calories every few kilograms you lose to work out whether you need to drop it or not. Obviously, if you're in a 500 calorie deficit and you lose quite a bit, I wouldn't be worrying about reducing the calories too early. Even if you're only in a 300 or 400 calorie deficit, this will still make a significant impact and you'll still make lots of progress. And remember, you're not trying to rush this. You're trying to do it in a sustainable way that you can stick to. Another reason why your BMR can change can be to do with things such as that your body will fidget less when it's in a calorie deficit. You'll find that you get up and do things slightly less. Your body is trying to preserve itself. It doesn't want to lose that fat because it wants to keep that fat in order to look after itself. As a result, your body will make you as lazy as it possibly can. The way to counter this is either do some extra exercise to make up for it, some extra steps or something similar, or reduce your calories very slightly. This difference won't be huge. If you're in a deficit of 500 calories, this isn't going to suddenly disappear because your body's being lazier. This will make the difference of maybe 50 calories a day. My point is that the accumulation of you having slightly less weight, fidgeting slightly less, maybe slightly overeating on your calories, and a little bit of water retention, overall might mean that the scale doesn't move for weeks. But that leads me on to my final point. Be patient and don't give up. Just because you're not getting instant results, that doesn't mean that you're not making progress. Your body is a long-term asset. It's something that you can be proud of and work really hard on. Things don't happen overnight, and there's a reason why so much effort has to go in to what you want to achieve. Even today for me, I lost the 50 kilograms and I still wasn't happy with where I was. There's things that I'd do differently, and I've covered that in a multitude of other videos. But if your ultimate goal is losing weight, please reassess these points. Work out which one is likely to be the case and fix it appropriately. If it is just a case of patience, find motivation on the daily, and remember that motivation itself won't carry you through. You need to be determined, you need to be consistent, and you need to find a way of being sustainable to reach your long-term goal.